Taiwan, I'm Joyce coming to you from Taipei with the latest news. The head of the U.S. state of Arizona was in Taipei. During her visit, she expressed confidence in the growing Taiwanese investment in her state. But concerns persist over chip-making giant TSMC's mega investment in Arizona, and I attended the governor's private reception to hear her thoughts. The leader of the U.S. state of Arizona is here in Taipei. Governor Katie Hobbs is in town for a full 3 days to bolster economic ties between her state and Taiwan. Now, she's already met with President Tsai Ing-wen and other officials to promote Arizona's reputation as a good place to invest. Arizona has seen an economic boom, and that's largely thanks to world-famous chip maker TSMC, who's invested billions of dollars to building 2 chip fabs there. Now, the government and several industry leaders have praised the move, but not everyone is happy. Contention around Arizona's skilled labor force has caused some concern.
One of the biggest issues was the highly specialized nature of building these fabs, and that Taiwan needed to bring some workers over. But there are 12,000 builders on the site every single day that are largely Arizonans, and they're working side by side and learning the skills, those advanced skills.
Between cultural differences and whether foreign engineers will take away from American jobs, Governor Hobbs expressed confidence that all stakeholders will be taken care of. She says a key part of her trip is to better understand Taiwan's culture. Her statements were made at a private reception with business leaders to open Arizona's Trade and Investment Office in Taiwan's capital, another sign of her commitment to ensure investors will benefit from their bets on her state. Agriculture Minister Tseng has resigned over ongoing turmoil surrounding egg imports.
我认为我今天离开了，那或许因为我个人而相关的攻击力道会大幅度减少，所以农业部的同仁一定可以更好好的做事情。
The recently created Agriculture Ministry has come under fire over a $6 million project to import eggs from as far away as Brazil. Authorities destroyed millions of expired eggs and recalled eggs with incorrect expiration dates. The issue has become heavily politicized, with members of the opposition Kuomintang attacking the government over its perceived mishandling of the matter. The Taiwan People's Party has suspended Hsinchu Mayor Gao Hong'an's membership pending her trial for graft. Gao is accused of taking over $14,000 meant for aide salaries in her previous role as a lawmaker. She's one of just 2 party members elected as a leader of a local government in a map otherwise dominated by the Kuomintang and the Democratic Progressive Party. Gao's party says it will only reinstate her membership if she's cleared of the charges. The military will start practicing helicopter flyovers in Taipei as part of preparations for the country's National Day. U.S.-made Black Hawk helicopters will fly over the presidential office in the early mornings on Thursday and Saturday. The military plans to conduct full-scale rehearsals closer to the day. Those will include both helicopters and jets. The country's National Day celebration will take place on October 10th. The United Nations has opened its General Assembly in New York. As Rick Lowett reports, global leaders face mounting challenges in a divided world.
It's the first day of the United Nations General Assembly. And in welcoming the global body's members to its New York headquarters, the UN chief Antonio Guterres noted that the group is now far from united.
Our world is becoming unhinged. Geopolitical tensions are rising. Global challenges are mounting. And we seem incapable of coming together to respond.
One of the major issues dividing member states, Russia's invasion of its neighbour Ukraine, now in its 18th month. In a fiery address, the country's President Volodymyr Zelensky compelled the assembly to support his efforts to repel invaders.
And the goal of the present war against Ukraine is to turn our land, our people, our lives, our resources into a weapon against you, against the international rules-based order.
Zelensky's sentiment was echoed by US President Joe Biden, who denounced Russian leader Vladimir Putin's naked aggression. But Biden took a softer stance when it came to China, another authoritarian state threatening the status quo with military expansionism in the South China Sea and aggression towards Taiwan, which it sees as part of its territory.
I've said we are for de-risking, not decoupling with China. We will push back on aggression and intimidation and defend the rules of the road, from freedom of navigation to overflight to level economic playing field.
China has recently escalated threats to take Taiwan by force, raising concerns that the self-ruled island nation could become the next Ukraine. Beijing has been using its influence at the UN to keep Taiwan out of the global body. Taiwan's only voice at this annual gathering comes through its small list of diplomatic allies that speak out for it.
El gobierno de Paraguay expresa su apoyo a la República de China-Taiwán para ser parte integral del sistema de las Naciones Unidas.
But there is more on the agenda of this 9-day gathering than any one country's aggression towards its neighbours. The leaders are meant to find solutions to the escalating climate emergency and the global cost of living crisis. But if the display of division on day one is anything to go by, consensus and real change may prove elusive. John Su and Rick Lowett for TaiwanPlus.
The US, EU, and Russia are urging an end to fighting in Nagorno-Karabakh, where Azerbaijan has launched a military offensive. Baku has sent soldiers backed by artillery fire into the disputed territory in the Caucasus. Nagorno-Karabakh is internationally recognized as Azerbaijani territory, but it's controlled by Armenian separatists. Authorities there say the fighting has killed 27 people. Russia, which backs Armenia, is calling for a return to a ceasefire agreement signed in 2020. Presidential hopeful Ho Yo-i from the opposition Kuomintang is in Washington, D.C., meeting with think tank members. Ho met with analysts from the Brookings Institution to discuss security in the Taiwan Strait. He says the country needs to be prepared for war and that it needs to use strength to preserve peace and stability in the region. Those comments came as a record 103 Chinese warplanes were spotted around Taiwan between Sunday and Monday morning. Ho says China needs to stop this behavior.
中国大陆对这种军机扰台的事件要停止，因为这只会徒增台湾人民的反感，对两岸的和平没有致意。
U.S. officials say that any form of conflict in the Taiwan Strait would have devastating effects in the region. Here's the person in charge of Indo-Pacific security testifying before the Senate.
Military aggression across the strait, whether in the form of an outright invasion, a blockade, or other means, would risk human life and global prosperity unimaginable in this century.
Ratner and other officials were speaking to the U.S. House Armed Services Committee. They say China poses one of the biggest threats to security in the Taiwan Strait, and the U.S. is speeding up arms deliveries to Taiwan to help the country defend itself. Taiwan's economic ministry is raising electricity prices for hundreds of businesses. These firms include cinemas, gyms, department stores, and restaurants. They'll see a 15% price hike starting in October as consumer demand recovers from the COVID pandemic. The ministry is keeping household rates unchanged. The increased rates for businesses could generate $50 million in revenue for the state-owned Taiwan Power Company. The firm has lost more than $4 billion in the first half of this year. Every drop matters, but in Taiwan, it's especially crucial. The country has seen flooding and droughts, and safe water treatment and storage is becoming ever more vital. Sally Jensen was at an event in Taipei to learn more about how Taiwan and other countries are tackling this issue.
It's Taiwan International Water Week, and this expo in Taipei is showcasing everything water. Smart water meters, water treatment technology, and water resource management. Businesses and organizations from around the world have come to share what they're doing to ensure safe, clean drinking water. And Taiwan is also showing off its efforts in this area. But most people are still not comfortable drinking tap water here, and the Water Resources Agency is trying to change that. Is Taiwan's tap water, is it safe to drink?
Sure. The quality of the Taiwan tap water is quite wonderful, but every individual they like to taste a different kind of smell of the water.
Taiwan is one of the world's rainiest countries, but often experiences water shortages and droughts. What's more, it has one of the world's highest per-person water consumption rates.
We also think about the quantity of the water is quite crucial for our society because we know the climate change make everything go be different compared to before.
According to UNICEF, half the world's population could face water scarcity by as early as 2025. And with Taiwan's aging buildings, added to a lack of public trust in clean tap water, safe facilities for water storage and treatment will be essential. Howard Zhang and Sally Jensen in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Former NBA star Jeremy Lin has signed a new contract with the new Taipei Kings. Our reporter Sandy Chi was there.
It's official. Former NBA basketball star Jeremy Lin has signed up with a new Taiwan team. He left his old squad, the Kaohsiung Steelers, and joined the new Taipei Kings. He switched just for one reason, so he could play alongside his younger brother, Joseph.
可能用说话说不出来这些情绪，因为都是我们已经聊了30年了，能不能有一天有这样子一个机会可以加盟同样的球队？
The deal Jeremy signed with his new team is a 1-year plus contract, which means after completing the upcoming season, he'll be able to decide whether to stay with the Kings.
我希望是签1+10啦，但是要看他愿不愿意。但全世界啦都有机会可以再次看到林书豪在场上的表现，我觉得是我们真的很荣幸了。
Jeremy came to Taiwan midway through last season. He joined the Steelers with the goal of finding passion in basketball again, which he did.
去年感觉真的找回这个热情，所以我觉得训练的时候就非常快乐。这个夏天对我来说是非常非常好玩的一个夏天。
Though Jeremy enjoyed the previous season, he was not happy about playing against his brother and not with him.
My mom definitely hated when we played against each other. Actually, last year, after every game we played against each other, both my parents would just give us a lot of pressure and just be like, I hate seeing you guys play against each other, and they just say it all the time.
It wasn't just about Jeremy. His parents were also worried about Joseph, frustrated about his coverage in the media.
Joe is a great player. Joe has spent his entire life and his entire career in my shadows and not getting the credit he deserves because of that, or being held to some standard that is not necessarily fair to him if he just went his own path without me in the picture. So that is always a huge consideration for our family.
Now playing with Joseph on the same team, Jeremy says it's a dream come true.
我们两个都是感觉有一点不是真的，有一点那个 shock 的 feeling， 所以我们肯定是很开心。
And with his new team, Jeremy also sets a new modest goal.
我是一个非常要看到结果、非常要达到目标的一个人，所以有时候在这个过程中很难感受，所以我真的是希望能够好好的去感受，因为很难得你会可以有这个机会吧，有那么多那么好的人。
With fresh passion and his brother at his side, Taiwan could soon see a new wave of Linsanity. Alex Shen and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for joining us for What's Up Taiwan. Before we go, check out these shots of a wiener dog race in the United States. I'm Joyce. Take care and see you next time.